Well, hi there. Warm welcome. You're watching Blueprint Explosive Exclusive and I'm Meghna Deka. Well, today, viewers, we are asking you a simple question. How safe are you in a bike taxi? Yes, it may be the faster, it may be the cheapest alternative to anything else, but is it safe enough? Well, the reason why we are asking you these questions today is because Rapido Ola, they have hit a speed breaker today in Karnataka. A crucial question which is hanging in the air over their very existence. Are bike taxis a convenient way to get around, or are we in danger? A danger that we are ignoring. Well, with Karnataka banning their operations and controversies such as the Assaultgate video, remember, which has been doing the rounds, going viral, it puts the lens on passenger safety under the spotlight and also the safety of the driver, the riders of these bike taxis. The future of these services are up to debate. Are bike taxis a convenient service, or is it a safety risk that we cannot afford to ignore? As safety standards are under scanner, bikes, taxis, none of these are anymore being allowed to operate in Karnataka. This follows the Karnataka High Court's refusal to stay a state government order banning their services, which is the issue that we are discussing today. The Namma Bike Taxi Association, which has written this letter to Rahul Gandhi and Chief Minister Siddaramaiah as well, making a strong appeal against the ban on bike taxis. In fact, in this letter that you can see on your screens, well, they have written that more than 1 lakh drivers' livelihoods are now at risk, further adding that for many of them, this isn't just a side gig. For them, it is a matter of their survival, for their family survival. They say that many of them are working 10 to 12 hours a day just to support their families. Instead of a ban, they ask, why not have a proper framework with licensing, with training, insurance, which are similar to the models in Delhi and Telangana as well as Rajasthan. In fact, the association has further added that bike taxis serve nearly 8 crore riders a year and remains to be a lifeline for countless people. So Telangana and Delhi seem to be leading the way when it comes to the model policy for bike taxis. They require, what is the difference between a Telangana model, a Delhi model, and the difference between a Karnataka model, for example? In fact, we've put it out for you graphically as well. Well, in these, they require a commercial registration and special license plate alongside driver training, background checks of the drivers, all of them to ensure that passengers are kept safe as well. This policy also makes sure that there are adequate insurance coverage, which bans the use of ordinary bikes for commercial riders and also enforces farm vehicle fitness checks as well to ensure it's not just about the passenger and the drivers, also the fitness of the bike itself. Now, Rapido has also issued a statement in this response. In fact, it has said that bike taxis are providing income to many of the last mile mobility to millions of people. It has added that Rapido is committed to developing a compliant and sustainable framework with clear priority to protect the gig workers and to keep communal safety at the center of its operations. In fact, the company, as you can see, has put out this statement saying that it's pursuing all the avenues to possibly support the captains during this challenging time. It's urging the stakeholders to stand with them through the process as they navigate this ban and find a way forward. So the ban might have been implemented, but the numbers say that the app-based taxis rule the streets in India and employ so many people. In fact, let's break it down for you graphically, which will give you a sense of the extent of the number of people who are actually dependent. It's not just their income, but also those people who are dependent to get to their places of jobs, for example, in these bike taxis. So the number of monthly active users, as you can see, when it comes to Ola, it is 28.6 million. When it comes to Uber, you can see this in this corner. When it comes to Uber, it's 33.6 million users, active users at that. And when it comes, as you can see in red, to Rapido, which is 31.8 million active users every month. Now let's also show you the next one, which is the new downloads which are being reported by all these three aggregators. When it comes to Ola, the number of downloads are about 17 million. For Uber, again, it is 17.7 million. For Rapido, it is 33 million. That's a huge jump up, which is why it gives you a sense of how many people really depend on them. Also, let's tell you about the total number of downloads when it comes to in millions. You have the highest downloads which are coming in first. For example, the market share that we are looking at is 56% of the market share is coming in the bike taxis. Uber Moto is active in about 125 cities. In fact, most of them are MAUs, and which is about roughly, we can say 33.6 million. So those are the number of active users. Ola bikes, when it comes to that, the fuel, the electric, the bike taxis, the active app installations are actually coming in at a whopping 206 million people. But there have been several instances where people have flagged safety concerns themselves, especially when it comes to women. Has the Karnataka government done the right thing by banning it? Mainly because of this reason? Well, let's take a look and remind you of some of the incidents in the past. We are going to start with Bengaluru. It had come up, remember, where a woman had said that a Rapido driver had masturbated mid-ride while she was sitting there. The driver allegedly also wrote "love you" text to her, and he called her, harassed her repeatedly. In April 2023, you had another case which is coming in again from Bengaluru, where a 30-year-old architect had to jump off the moving Rapido bike because she had alleged that the rider was inebriated and he groped this woman. Again, in March 2023, in Hyderabad this time around, a woman had alleged that the rider had touched her inappropriately. When the woman objected, the rider then ended the ride and then he fled. And there are similar other cases. 23-year-old woman saying that she was raped by a bike taxi rider. In fact, said an associate raped her near his house as well. So those are the horror tales which are coming in. Joining us on the show, we have Sandeep Anirudhan. He is the founder of Citizens Agenda. We also have Tanveer Pasha, who's joining us. He is the president of Ola and Uber Drivers and Owners Association of Karnataka, State Auto and Taxi Federation. Tanveer Pasha, I'm going to come to you first. You must explain to us. Yes, we all agree that about the livelihoods of 1 lakh riders are at stake here. But what about the safety protocols? Is there anything in Karnataka, any model which has been put in place to ensure there are checks and balances?
See, first of all, this company is not registered under state government of Karnataka or many other states. This is we call illegal operations and illegal services, which is giving till today. From today, it is completely banned. So whatever, even from today, they still providing the services, which is contempt of the court as well.
Just to be clear, so Tanveer Pasha, which company are you talking about? Because Ola, Ubers, many are saying they are continuing to give their bike taxis up and they are being made available. Is that true?
Yeah, still they are continuing the services, but the court of Karnataka recently told not to give the services. Stop from June 16. If the government makes any rules, after that you can start your services. Until the government doesn't make any rules for this, and they will not permit you to operate the services. Right. Don't operate, you shut down your services. They clearly said from last 4 years also, they don't have any provision to run to give the services. We are clearly telling, keep telling to the public also, when this unorganized, unauthorized, illegal services, if we take, such things happens, who will be the responsible?
Who's
First of all,
responsible?
safety is concerned. Then the real responsible is the directors, the chairperson, the CEO of this company. They should be the A1, and then the person who slapped the woman or who molested, who threatened the woman, who threatened the passengers, he will be the second, A2. My feel.
In fact, that's interesting that you're talking about one specific company, but then we have to look at the safety issues for all of them. Sandeep Anirudhan, if we take a broader analysis of it, there are these bike taxis which are operating quite seamlessly, even in Delhi, where I stay. even in Rajasthan, in other states as well, like Telangana, and those models seem to be working fine. What needs to be done to ensure that there is safety also? There's also affordability. Both of them can be brought together. How?
Meghna, ultimately, it is the duty of the government to make it convenient for citizens to have a wide range of options for mobility, urban mobility, and they have to be efficient, they have to be smooth. I think largely the problem is with the government. The government does not change laws where it is required. Where it is not required, they're very happy to change. Like nobody wants the Greater Bengaluru Authority Bill or Act. Greater Bengaluru Governance Act, but they have rushed it at super speed. But we have an outdated law on transport. It's called the Stage Carriage Act. I think it was passed by the British in the 19th century. We are still utilizing that law in which only the government can actually operate certain public services, and then there is this entrenched auto as the only other alternative. I think we have to wake up to the new realities that there are multiple modes available today which didn't exist before, and there are multiple technological platforms which can utilize all of these and make it more efficient and provide it in multiple ways, like exactly what all these apps are doing, and many more. Like there used to be sharing apps, there used to be aggregation on buses, all kinds of things. We have an outdated bus service which struggles with some fixed routes from one end of the city to another city. None of it is rational. So a lot of the problem is the law. The legislation is not changing. Our MLAs are not taking any interest in upgrading that legislation, amending it.
Right.
These are the amendments
that
we require, but they are not interested. You have to create amendments which make
So Sandeep,
make the
is
rules.
the High Court right? Are the lower courts right that there is an issue for safety that needs to be brought in? But are you saying that it is the legislature which has not cooperated, not updated the laws as they should be, but the courts are right? Is that what you're saying, Sandeep?
The courts are correct. The courts are correct that our legislations are outdated. We need to see, first, legislations have to keep pace with time. We have to keep updating them. You can't have a 19th century legislation for a 21st century situation. And we also have to keep in mind what developments have happened in technology, services and stuff like that. You have to upgrade all of that. And safety has to be primary. So you have to ensure that the laws firmly address that issue and also provide an open play field for all of these, multiple
there shouldn't be a monopoly against monopoly practices.
There should be competition.
But Tanveer Pasha, so let me bring in Tanveer Pasha. You are saying one service provider or two service providers are better than some of the others. For example, you are here today, you are representing Ola and Uber Drivers and Owners Association. Tanveer Pasha, what is the insurance cover? What is it that Ola and Uber, whom you are representing, their drivers as well as owners, have in place to ensure that there is safety if an untoward incident happened? And we all know about the past instances which have happened even in Uber cabs, for example.
I agree, Meghna. I am not taking any stand or support of these aggregator companies. I am clearly telling that these aggregator companies, even we are fighting for safety measures for all the times. Even I don't take the stand if my driver or my associate, anybody is going against the rule or bonded the laws. So we strictly take actions against him, and we will not take stand for him when he goes in the criminal activities. So these companies are not going to install any system. They are not just a single method they are using.
But Tanveer Pasha, sorry to interrupt you. We are going to play out the visuals of what had happened in Bengaluru, just to put things into perspective. In Bengaluru, you have one of the riders who said that he was assaulted by a woman. We can see that very clearly. What happens to this rider? Today, there is an FIR against him. He has been detained. What happens to him? What will the owners of his company, for example, do to ensure that he too is safe?
See, first of all, see his body language and what the dress, what he is wearing shorts. And when we are providing the service for public transportation, we have a disciplinary. When it comes under the rules and regulation.
Are there any rules and regulations in Karnataka?
See, rules and regulation and not under this gig worker, whatever this gig
The gig workers,
economy
yes.
came, gig economy came, then these companies who came from IIT, IIM, they're coming and they're introducing the new technology. What you're talking about, the technology, it doesn't mean it should be a friendly to the public, not like against our law.
Absolutely.
Whatever the existing law, we have to follow the existing law. Law is for every citizen in India. If anything they wanted to implement new, they should go
Absolutely.
and represent with the government and start with it.
I think we can all agree that safety is paramount. For those who are availing
100%.
of these bike taxis, also for the riders of these bike taxis. But a framework is required. As even Sandeep as well as Tanveer Pasha have pointed out, that it's important that it is done within a framework. We can't sit with 19th century laws which do not even address the fact that today all it takes is a phone to call a cab. In that phone, you're going to put in your number. Your number will be available to a person that you don't know. How safe are you by sharing your phone number? We've seen nightmares in the past, but hopefully at least now we'll have the authorities waking up, because the courts have made it very clear. No rules, no bike taxis. But is that going to be a template? We'll have to wait and watch. Appreciated a lot, Sandeep Anirudhan, for joining us here on the show, as well as Tanveer Pasha. Without a short break, don't go anywhere. We'll return in 2 minutes.